Hey everyone, welcome back to AFTV. Welcome to the preview. It's me and Cecil today. How you doing?
Very well, very well. Very pleasure to be here. I know it's normally you and the Don, and you guys, your previews are amazing. I enjoy watching them, and they give me all the information I need to know, which I steal and then bring on the
and then present it as your own. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's normally, Robbie, it's also normally outside the ground, especially when it's a home game. But unfortunately, we couldn't be there today because the weather's decided to play its part. Although, funny, the minute the camera switches on,
I'm looking out.
The sun's out. Yeah. It's just typical. Anyway, we're here to talk about the Palace game. Arsenal need to respond after a really disappointing game at home to Sporting. We've had a few home disappointments this season when you think of the drop points against Newcastle, but we played quite well that day. The Man City defeat as well, the Brentford draw, Sporting as well. It's come, those three especially, well, they've all come since the start of the new year. We were pretty imperious at home before that. Not that we weren't conceding goals, but we were kind of scoring enough and having large control of the game. Certainly not recently, and Arsenal need to respond against Palace because while we can all do the whole, the bigger picture, the schedule might benefit us, one thing to focus on, that wasn't an acceptable performance against Sporting.
No, James, you're spot on there, and you know my feelings since I've been here today at the studio. I was very disappointed in Arsenal on Thursday. I really was. I think the performance was terrible, and obviously a lot of people will say that you don't want to go in on the boys because of how well they've done and where we're sitting currently, and I understand that, but that performance is not acceptable. I was at the London Football Awards, as I keep bringing up and mentioning, I'm sure people are sick of it, but Edu said...
I'd be mentioning it a lot if I were you, so go on.
Edu continued to mention, every time I asked him, or not me, but other outlets asked him about, the league, it's almost yours, like, what are you thinking about it? His response to everyone was, we're looking at the performances. The performances is what we're focusing on every week. That is what we pride ourselves in, and I'll be honest, that performance on Thursday was terrible, and I know they'll be disappointed about it, and they should be, because for me it's not acceptable with how strong this team is and the players that eventually enter the field. So something to definitely look at, and again, when you mentioned it just then, there's a home form that needs to be questioned. I remember interviewing fans at the start of the season saying this is now our fortress, Emirates. We're making it our own. This is a season where we can come here and feel confident. The fans are behind the team in the Emirates. It's the loudest it's ever been. The performances are better, and of recent, it hasn't been that.
I said in Forever Arsenal that it's getting to a point when you look at the difference in away form to home form, how controlled we are, how disciplined we are away from home, but still playing our football, to how open and just chaotic we look at home. I'm honestly, take this with a pinch of salt, but I'm getting to the point where I'm happy that City, Liverpool, Newcastle game are away, because I'm trusting us to have a better discipline. Okay, teams that are going to go punch for punch, open up a little bit. I feel like we're going to be more capable of dealing with that away from home than we are at home. Now, obviously, if you gave me the chance to have those crucial games at home, I'd rather they were at home.
I don't know if I would.
But the point is, the fact that there's even a discussion around that shows you, look, we'll get slapped up in all those games, and then I'll be sitting here looking like an idiot for saying that. But the point I'm trying to make is really highlighting how different I felt from the Fulham game. Should have been tough, 7th place, away from home. The way we played at the Bridge, the way we played at so many grounds. Even at Old Trafford we played brilliantly but lost. I just feel like there's a better discipline and a better almost like demeanour to this Arsenal team. But look, we're not playing badly at home. That's the thing I want to stress. And as bad as the other night was against Sporting, it was bad because of what we didn't do on the ball. I actually thought for large parts of the game, they didn't do a lot either. They had the big Edwards chance. And Arsenal still were able to fashion some really good chances, even though we didn't play very well. So that gives me a little bit of hope. Now, when we take that to Palace, I think Arsenal need to focus on that and go, right, it's happened now. Like, Sporting's, it's happened, it's disaster, leave it behind. We are in such a good position in this league. I've backed the team to go out and blow Palace out of the water because why not? Because I want to see a response. Because we can do this.
They have to. We saw it obviously at Fulham on the weekend. Like, we went and drew 2-2 to them in Portugal in Sporting, and it wasn't great. And then we came back, Fulham, and we completely dominated the game. They have to respond. And look, I speak to fans, as everyone obviously knows, and their mindset is, look, we've got to back the team now more than ever. I'm confident we're going to be focusing completely on the Premier League now. This is what we want. This is what we wanted. Premier League main focus, and I think the players have to give us that as well. It's not just us, because all the fans are behind the team completely. Even though the performance on Thursday wasn't great, they're saying it's all the Premier League now. So the players have to give us that confidence as well. When it comes to playing at home, they have to do that.
I'm never one to criticise the crowd. I'm never one to criticise criticise the crowd, but apparently even like the Emirates wasn't, the atmosphere wasn't like it'd been in the Premier League games. So maybe there's just that subconscious thing that none of us want to admit because it's all silverware, but maybe just subconsciously it just, everything from the players to the fans, we knew that there was something else that we're really kind of looking at more. That doesn't make it acceptable, but whatever, it's done now. It's done now. And the fans have been amazing all season. I'm going on Sunday to the Palace game. I can't wait. But as we mentioned, it is a home game. It is the Emirates Stadium, our beautiful 60,000 seat stadium. Sunday, the 19th of March, with a 2 p.m. kickoff UK time. Of course, fans from all around the world will be tuning in at all sorts of hours, as I always like to mention, because big up those fans. It is quite a shift. I remember being out in Thailand this time last year, and I got up for the Palace game, 2 a.m. I was up till 4. We lost 3-0. And I remember,
that was the run where
I remember, bless her, Emma saying to me, you know, how was it when should have slept, should have slept, but whatever. Arsenal go into it top of the table, 66 points, 3 points off last season's whole tally with 27 games played. So after this, there'll be the magic 10 to go. Palace sitting 12th in the table on 27 points. Now this takes us nicely into discussion about Palace, because Patrick Vieira has just been sacked.
Ouch, hurts me a little bit.
Now, no shots on target in the last 3 games. That obviously is a pretty diabolical stat.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the time you're watching this, we're tackling this in the live show. I think this is a really harsh sacking. And I've given my reasons, / will be giving my reasons on that show why. But if you just look at their last 5 games, they lost 1-0 at Brighton. They just smashed up West Ham 4-0. That can happen. Brighton are a very good team. Liverpool went and lost there twice. They lost 1-0 to Man City, took a penalty. That was an error from Elise. You got the 1-0 defeat at Villa. For half an hour of that game, they had Decore sent off. They then drew 0-0 with Liverpool, who've had some moments recently where they've looked like they might be getting back to their best, but they've had their bad results as well. And they drew 1-1 at Brentford, not a bad result either. I feel a little bit sorry. I'm really surprised. And obviously it means a potential manager bounce, but also Arteta going into this game, we know that's to prepare for the opposition. He's perhaps not really sure how not how we'll approach this, but how Palace will.
Yeah, no, listen, you may feel a little, I think it was a bit harsh with Patrick Vieira getting sacked. I do as well. I don't know if that's because of sentimental reasons, because when I speak to Palace fans, I think they were waiting for it. I spoke with a Palace fan recently. I did a preview to this game, and he was saying, look, if we lose to Brighton, which is it's a rivalry, it's not a derby, but it's a rivalry, a big one, then that's going to have big question marks on him. And then if obviously you got Arsenal, which when I spoke to the fans, they're expecting that to not go their way as well. So they're saying maybe it will be time for Patrick to be sacked. But with what he done last season for the team, and like you mentioned there, I don't think some of those results, I think they're a bit harsh, but they haven't won in the last 12 games, I believe it is, and
They haven't, but they've had a really difficult run. I think I read Tim Stillman's tweet saying that I think of their last 10 games, or it's something like of their last 10 to go, they've got to. But let me just not make something up, and let me just tell you what I do know. Most of their games remaining are against teams below them. They're 12th in the table. They've played a lot of games against teams above them in the table. That includes the Brentfords, the Brightons. So there's a lot of opportunities for points. And even with that run, they are 12th. Yeah, they're on 27 points. There's a lot of teams around that, and 12th to 18th, there's not a massive gap. But I don't know. I think that form tells us that even though they've just sacked a manager, Palace are not going into this game a total defensive shambles and mess. Yes, they haven't been causing us a lot of problems, but they've got players like Eze, Zaha, Elise that can cause us problems. Edouard, Mateta, whoever leads the line, they've done things against Arsenal in the past. I just wonder whether, or Mateta has, I just wonder whether this whole kind of, we might be going in with a little bit of a false sense of Palace are a mess, and I don't think they are a mess going into this game.
That's a dangerous mindset to have, especially from one, the fan base, and two, the players, because Palace is never going to be easy. I know people are saying, like I just said, they have been winless in the last 12 and all that, but you got to fear them. I remember, was it last year when Lacazette scored that equaliser and we just held on? I think Palace they're a good team. They haven't had a great run of recent, but I think they are someone to be fearful of. And the only reason why something I want to bring up as well, it might be the expectations maybe of the fan base of why Patrick might have been sacked as well, is because Infrastructure-wise, I was at the training ground on Monday met the first team and whatnot. The mood was eerie. It was very, very low. It was very flat. But they have a brand new infrastructure there. They've got a brand new training ground that's unreal. They're looking to extend on the stadium. They are in the hub of South London, where there's a bunch of great talent. They've also got something, they've got a loan. They've got Lokonga there. They've got good players, and they've got Wilfred Zaha. They've got Elisa. They've got players in that squad that maybe should be achieving a bit more. So I think from a Palace fan's point of view, when I spoke to them, they expect more this season. Right now, we're sitting in 12th. I don't think it's too bad for a Palace side, but with all the things they have, and that's acceptable, there for them, they might want to expect a bit more, and it's probably why it's kind of led to all of this as well. And they need to definitely be scoring some more goals as well. But that is probably why you've seen Paddy sacked. But it does sentimental-wise, I feel for him.
Well, look, of every team, they're 12th, and of every team below them, they've got the joint fewest defeats. They've got 9 draws in there as well, the most of any other team as well. It's just one. That's what I think. I don't want Arsenal fans going into this thinking, they're going to be a complete shambles, and Arsenal are going to, be able to blow them away, and maybe they won't have a manager in time and all that. I think we're going to come up against a Palace that are going to want to respond to whoever the new manager is and all that. There's always that manager bounce thing, but also just a team that generally I don't think are going into this a complete shambles either.
Can I ask you? Sorry, I know you're playing host here, but then where's your mind leading towards? I know we'll get to obviously score predictions at the end of the game, but are you more leaning towards Arsenal having to bounce back off Thursday night and blowing Palace away, or are you leaning towards, well, Palace, listen, we saw Everton have a manager bounce and beat us, might cause us more problems than what you just mentioned there than we expect?
You're right, I'm contradicting myself because I'm saying Palace aren't a shambles, but I think we'll blow them away. But that's an Arsenal thing. I think the team can go out there and put on a show, and just, what I mean by that is, what I'm trying to say is we're going to have to be good to beat Palace.
Right.
And I think if we are good, we can really have a good day. But I don't think they're going to come here. It's going to be like, you just rolled them over and whatever, and they didn't really throw a punch, and they've got no fight about them or whatever. I'm trying to just give Palace and Vieira a little bit of credit, but I think Arsenal can. Fulham didn't go into the game a mess at all when they faced us, but we did our thing and we blew them away, and I think that's kind of what I mean.
We was above. We're Arsenal level. It's playing the best football in the Premier League, but I think that Fulham game was above. It was
probably as good a performance as we've seen from Arsenal since the World Cup, and that includes some of the big wins as well. We've been brilliant. Let me give you some negative numbers and some positive numbers.
Go for it.
Negative numbers. Here are our last 5 results against Palace at the Emirates. In 2018, we beat them 4-1. I remember that. That was a frantic first half. I think Lacazette was in on the goals, 4-1 win. But then since then, they beat us 3-2. I remember that, the Mustafi-Leno error, and we rotated. That was a mess. Do you know what's interesting about that? We rotated in that game because we had the Europa League to worry about.
Yeah. I remember that. Wow.
Then we drew 2-2 with them, although in fairness we should have won that game. We were 2-0 up, and then Socrates had a goal disallowed for nothing. We drew 0-0 with them in Project Restart behind closed doors, and then 2-2 last season with a 95th minute equaliser from Lacazette as well.
That running into the crowd, and
that's when the celebration police was formed, I think. So look, our last 4 against them, not good at all. However, our last 5 results, and it's great to get that blip, as we mentioned. You think you're talking about a Marvel film here, but our last 5 now, the 4-2 win at Villa, the 1-0 win at Leicester, the 4-0 win against Everton, the 3-2 win against Bournemouth, and a 3-0 win against Fulham. Arsenal going in, and that's the point. As much as that, sporting results disappointing, the last 5 in the Premier League, that's a really, really impressive return of results.
Thank you for reminding me of that. I was at the 4-0 Everton game. That was at home. That wasn't a bad performance. No,
but I felt we were very open in that first half, and a better team would punish us.
Right.
And I think we saw that with Bournemouth then a few days later. But let's talk about the starting 11, and I'm going to get the AFTV Plus app open.
So you guys know it's on iOS and it's on Play Store. Click on it. You can also join Fan Zone on it. There's so much more stuff in there. There's articles.
Go check it out.
And we can build our 11s, and so can you. And please do build them for this Sunday's game. Tag us. We'll be resharing them, and I'm sure, if possible, we can pop them up on the starting 11 show as well.
Yeah, you're right. You've got it all there. I want to go to the 11 selector now. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to build the team we want.
Right.
And then we're going to make just the subtle changes for what we think Arteta's going to go with. So we know it's a 4-3-3. And look, let's just get the obvious ones out of the way.
Ramsdale in goal.
Yeah, Ramsdale. Now, Ben White right back.
Yes, for me.
Yeah, Tomiyasu came off on crutches. Cool. Let's go to left back.
Oh.
Because Zinchenko wasn't at his best, but did well at Fulham.
For me, the strongest side you start Zinchenko. But this Tierney conversation has to be had, because when does he play now? Like, why is Arteta? He seems like he just palmed him off. And I'm normally the one always campaigning for Zinchenko to start. I always have been from when we first signed him. But I want to give Tierney a mention because I feel for him. I don't know when he's going to play next, and he's still got an abundance of quality. He's a good player. It's not like he's a number 2 where the quality drops off. Yes, we play a different style of football right now, and if you can't adapt to it, that might be the main reason why he's not getting in. But that seems like we're wasting a player with an abundance of talent. I would go with Zinchenko personally, but we have to have a conversation about Kieran Tierney, and I do feel for him. I don't know, James, what are your thoughts? I don't know because there's no cups now. He's going to be in the next 11 to 10 games will be cup finals, and Arteta seems to favour Zinchenko all the time, even though sometimes he has been sloppy at times with passes.
In short, Tierney hasn't been able to prove his fitness. He's a very good player. I love the guy to bits. But Zinchenko's come in. We've been at our best when we've had Zinchenko in the team. And that's all it is. I don't think it's anything about Arteta not rating Tierney. Maybe he doesn't trust him to do what Zinchenko does, but he probably rates him in a different way. But at the moment, he's going with his first choice left back, and I'm never really going to complain about a manager going for their strongest team, if that makes sense. So Zinchenko for me, centre backs. Now we're going to chuck Gabriel in there because that's the obvious one.
I want Saliba. Obviously, I know he come off injured with the lower back, but
well, I'm predicting that he's fit. So I'm going to put Saliba in there. I'm going to predict that he's fit. I'm going to predict he's okay. Because even if he's not fully 100%, they'll say, cool, international break to come, you'll be fine. Although I did think Rob Holding did well. I will give him credit. A lot of people weren't actually willing to do it. I thought he played really well when he came on.
For me, he was the standout in the Arsenal side. He was the standout.
I thought him and Gabriel, when you look at the whole game, I thought Xhaka had a good first half, Jesus was bright. I thought Jorginho played well when he was on the pitch. But I thought throughout the whole game, Gabriel and Holding were the best players. So if Holding starts, I actually don't have much of a problem with that, but I want to go with Saliba. Partey?
Yeah, of course.
Odegaard?
Of course. And Granit Xhaka.
And then Granit Xhaka.
Lovely.
Cool. So that's the midfield 3, picks itself. Now the front 3 gets very interesting. Now what do we want, and then what do we think he'll go with?
I want to see, personally, and I know what you want to see, this is the thing. Because Saka on the right...
Let's get Saka in there, we know that.
I have to mention, Tariq Mitchell, last time, there was a very good battle between them two. I think they thrive at going up against each other. And for the first time, not saying Saka was completely kept quiet, but there was such a good battle in there that he wasn't the Saka that we were used to seeing. So that's an interesting one. Down that left side, I think it'll be Klein. Whoever plays up against him is gonna cause him problems. Right? What do we want? I want
Kurt.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
No.
Can I tell you what I want?
I know you want to see Jesus start.
I want Jesus up front.
Yep.
And then I want Martinelli on the left. I know he played a lot of minutes the other night, but he's been scoring goals. I actually thought his work rate was superb. Even though it wasn't coming off for him, I thought he was working incredibly hard. And I want that front 3 restored. And I think Jesus has looked so sharp, you've got to give it to him.
Do you know what?
Do you know what?
You're right. It's what I want. And I want that as well. I just don't think Mikel Arteta is going to go
No.
with that.
Now, what I think Arteta will go with is that 11, but I think he's going for Trossard on the left. Oh. Where is he? I think he's going to rest Martinelli and play Trossard left and Jesus up front.
Why would he rest? I know he didn't have. Some people say he didn't have the greatest game, obviously he missed a penalty and whatnot. But why do you think he'll rest Martinelli? Because of the minutes, or do you think? Because for a player at a club, after what just happened on Thursday, if you're rested, you see it as you're being dropped. So for the benefits of his mental state, you would start him in and say, get your confidence back. We're in front of the home crowd. Go and prove yourself. That's what. So I don't think he will drop him. I think he won't start Jesus. He will still implement him in slowly. I think Trossard will start up front. Martinelli will start on the left.
So then you think it's going to be
That's what I believe.
And Trossard.
And I actually believe Holden will start over up top.
Saliba, so that's what you think Arteta's going with.
Yeah.
All right, well, you've seen them both. Let us know, A, what you'd go with, and B, what you think Mikel Arteta will do. My reasoning is purely Martinelli played a lot of minutes in that game. I'd be happy to start him, but I think he'll look at it and go, I think he's going to be convinced Jesus is fit enough to play. He's looked brilliant in his two appearances. He's played a combined 65 minutes or so. Looked superb. Looked fine. Hasn't backed away from anything. Looks incredibly sharp. And I think he's going to think, listen, the best Arsenal team has Gabriel Jesus in it. Now, I think Martinelli's work rate's been tremendous. So has Trossard's. Trossard's had a little bit more final third quality in terms of the link up and everything. But then Martinelli's been more of a goal outlet. So I think it's up for debate who he goes with there. But interesting, you think he'll go with both and then maybe have Jesus on the bench. Yeah. So there we go. Those are our thoughts. Prediction, I went 4-0 on Forever Arsenal. I know. I never go for that kind of.
What the hell?
I never normally go for that kind of thing. But you know what? I just thought.
What?
I think the Arsenal players and the crowd and the Emirates, I think they're going to respond.
Is it because you're going and you want to see that? I thought so. No, I'm going to go with. I did this on the preview panel. I'm going to go 2-1.
Cagey affair.
People see it as a cagey affair. I see it as we go 2 goals up and it might be quite comfortable, but they nick a goal because they have to show some sort of response. Crystal Palace. So do we, but so do they. So I'm going for 2-1. But yeah, let us know your score predictions obviously in the comments. Yeah. The predictor, the 11 predictor on the AFTV Plus app. Send us yours, and also you can put the caption or a little comment saying this is what I think, this is what I want, and this is what I think Arteta will go with. Make sure you tag us, and you can see us sporting the AFTV merch. Me and James both wearing it.
A lot of people ask about it in like the comments, like the live comments of watch-alongs and live shows. It's all there, link in the description below.
Shop.aftv.co.uk as well. If you want to just type it in there. Love this one, and James is rocking AFTV.
Well, this is my work attire. I do love that.
I actually wear this quite a bit when I'm out, which is a bit worrying. But no, it's good. It's good. It means, we enjoy it and we like our merch. But yes.
There you go. Everyone, big thanks for joining us. As Cecil said, pointing you in all those directions. Do tag us on social so we can see your 11s. Let us know what you make of Palace going into this game. Very, very interesting. What with Patrick Vieira just being sacked, what do you make of that decision as well? And go check out all the other content on AFTV, from Invincibles to Forever, the live show, depending on when you're watching this, that should be done and out already. And yeah, we will see you on Sunday for the usual coverage. I'll be on starting 11 and I'll see you on full time for Fan Zone as well. See you very soon.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.